Hello everyone, and welcome back to Body Revival. It's so good to see you all here again. For those of you who are new to our community, a warm welcome, and thank you for joining us on this journey to better health. We're committed to bringing you the most impactful and actionable health information, and your support means the world to us. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our valuable health insights. We're always working to empower you with the knowledge you need to live your best life, and your subscription helps us reach and help more people. Today, we're tackling a topic that is profoundly critical to our well-being, one that touches upon the very essence of who we are at our brain health. We're going to uncover what I call the FA1 morning habit that prevents stroke and brain fog. This isn't just about feeling a little forgetful now and then, it's about safeguarding your most vital organ, your brain, from debilitating conditions like stroke and the insidious creep of cognitive decline. This topic is paramount because brain health isn't just about longevity, it's about quality of life. It impacts everything we do, how we think, how we feel, how we interact with the world, and our ability to live independently and joyfully. In a world where cognitive issues are on the rise, understanding how to protect our brains has never been more urgent. Let's ground this discussion with some sobering facts. The statistics surrounding stroke and cognitive decline are truly eye-opening. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, stroke is a leading cause of death and serious long-term disability in the United States, affecting nearly 800,000 people each year. Every 40 seconds, someone in the U.S. has a stroke, and every 4 minutes, someone dies from one. And it's not just an American problem, stroke is a global health crisis. Beyond stroke, the prevalence of brain fog and cognitive impairment is rapidly increasing. While not always a precursor to stroke, brain fog is often a symptom of underlying issues that, if left unaddressed, can contribute to more severe neurological problems over time. Think about how many people you know who complain about difficulty concentrating, memory lapses, or just feeling mentally off. This isn't just a normal part of aging, it's often a signal that our brains are not operating at their best. Studies suggest that up to 70% of adults experience brain fog at some point, and for many, it's a chronic struggle. These aren't just numbers, they represent lives profoundly impacted, families facing immense challenges, and a growing burden on healthcare systems worldwide. But here's the powerful truth, a significant portion of these debilitating conditions are preventable. And it starts with conscious, daily choices, particularly one powerful habit you can adopt every single morning. We're not talking about complex medical procedures or expensive treatments. We're talking about a simple, yet profoundly effective, daily practice that can lay the foundation for a lifetime of sharp cognition and neurological resilience. So, get ready to discover the habit that can truly revolutionize your brain health and protect your future. Let's dive into the first crucial sign or manifestation that suggests your brain health might be at risk, and that this morning habit could be a game changer for you. Persistent, unexplained fatigue and low energy levels, especially those that aren't relieved by adequate sleep. This isn't just feeling a bit tired, it's a pervasive sense of exhaustion that can make even simple daily tasks feel like monumental efforts, often accompanied by a general lack of mental alertness. While fatigue can stem from many causes, when it's chronic and combined with mental sluggishness, it's a significant red flag pointing to potential issues with your brain's energy production and overall cellular health. The underlying cause here often relates to mitochondrial dysfunction and cerebral blood flow. Your brain, though only accounting for about 2% of your body weight, consumes roughly 20% of your body's total energy. It relies heavily on a constant, efficient supply of oxygen and glucose delivered through a robust network of blood vessels. Within your brain cells, mitochondria are the powerhouses responsible for converting glucose and oxygen into ATP, the primary energy currency of your cells. If your mitochondria are not functioning optimally, perhaps due to inflammation, oxidative stress, or nutrient deficiencies, your brain simply won't have the energy it needs to perform its vast array of functions. This cellular energy deficit manifests as persistent fatigue, not just in your body, but acutely in your brain, leading to that heavy, dull feeling. Furthermore, if the blood flow to your brain is compromised, even subtly, your brain cells are deprived of the vital oxygen and nutrients they need, further exacerbating this energy crisis. Consider the example of someone who wakes up after 7 hours of sleep, but still feels utterly drained, as if they haven't slept at all. They might describe feeling heavy-headed, or like their brain is wrapped in cotton. Throughout the day, they find themselves constantly reaching for caffeine or sugary snacks, not for enjoyment, but simply to push through the pervasive exhaustion. Even simple conversations feel taxing, and their ability to stay engaged or focused dwindles rapidly. They might attribute this to stress or just getting older, dismissing it as an inevitable part of life. The consequences of this unaddressed fatigue and low brain energy are profound and can escalate if not detected early. Beyond the obvious impact on daily productivity and quality of life, chronic brain fatigue can be a precursor to more severe neurological issues. When your brain cells are starved of energy, they become more vulnerable to damage from oxidative stress and inflammation. This prolonged energy deficit can contribute to the accumulation of harmful proteins, like amyloid beta, which are associated with neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's. Moreover, it creates a fertile ground for the development of blood vessel issues. A fatigued brain might signal to the body to constrict blood vessels, or become less efficient at regulating blood flow, increasing the risk of micro-strokes or silent strokes over time, which often go unnoticed but accumulate damage. These tiny strokes can progressively erode cognitive function, leading to more pronounced brain fog and eventually, to a higher risk of a major stroke. Recognizing persisting, unexplained fatigue as a potential sign of underlying brain energy issues is crucial. It's your brain's way of signaling that it's struggling to meet its metabolic demands, and it's a critical early warning sign to address before more serious neurological events occur. Let's move on to the second significant indicator that your brain health might be compromised, and in need of the protective effects of our morning habit: difficulty with memory, focus, and concentration, often described as brain fog. This isn't just forgetting where you put your keys. It's a pervasive sense of mental haziness, an inability to think clearly, retain new information, or sustain attention on tasks that once came easily. This cognitive fuzziness is a hallmark symptom that your brain's intricate communication networks are not firing optimally. The root causes here often involve neuroinflammation and impaired neurotransmitter function. Neuroinflammation refers to inflammation within the brain and spinal cord, which can be triggered by various factors including chronic stress, poor diet, infections, environmental toxins, and even systemic inflammation from other parts of the body. When the brain is inflamed, it doesn't function efficiently. Inflammatory cytokines can disrupt the delicate balance of neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers that transmit signals between brain cells. For example, inflammation can reduce levels of acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter critical for memory and learning, or dopamine, essential for focus and motivation. Moreover, inflammation can damage the myelin sheath, the protective coating around nerve fibers, slowing down signal transmission and leading to fuzzy thinking. Another major factor is compromised cerebral blood flow. Your brain requires a constant, robust supply of oxygen and nutrients. If blood flow is even slightly restricted, or if the tiny capillaries that feed individual brain cells become damaged or clogged, those cells won't receive the fuel they need, leading to impaired cognitive function. Think of it like a city experiencing a brownout. Lights dim, systems slow down, and things just don't work as they should. Consider the real-life example of a middle-aged professional who used to be sharp and quick-witted, effortlessly juggling multiple projects. Suddenly, they find themselves staring blankly at their computer screen, unable to formulate a coherent email. They struggle to follow conversations, frequently lose their train of thought, and feel overwhelmed by tasks that were once routine. They might walk into a room and forget why they went there, or struggle to recall names of familiar people. This isn't just an off day. It's a persistent pattern that impacts their work performance, their relationships, and their overall sense of competence. They might feel frustrated, embarrassed, and even start to fear the onset of something more serious, like dementia. The consequences of ignoring persistent brain fog and cognitive difficulties are severe. Beyond the immediate impact on quality of life and productivity, chronic neuroinflammation and impaired neurotransmitter function create a vulnerable environment for more significant neurological decline. Prolonged inflammation can damage brain cells, leading to neuronal loss and a reduction in brain volume over time. This makes the brain less resilient to stressors and more susceptible to conditions like Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia. Furthermore, impaired blood flow to the brain, which often underlies brain fog, is a direct risk factor for stroke. When blood vessels are compromised, whether by plaque buildup, damage from high blood pressure, or chronic inflammation, the risk of a clot forming or a vessel rupturing dramatically increases. Brain fog, in this context, can be an early whisper of the vascular problems that, if unaddressed, can culminate in a debilitating stroke. Ignoring these cognitive signs isn't just about accepting a new normal. It's about overlooking critical signals that could prevent a more serious neurological event down the line. It's an urgent call to action to protect your brain's long-term health and vitality. Now, let's explore the third critical sign that often flies under the radar, but can be a powerful indicator of compromised neurological health: unexplained mood swings, irritability, or increased anxiety and depression that seem disproportionate to life circumstances. While mental health issues are complex and multifaceted, when these emotional shifts emerge alongside the fatigue and brain fog we've discussed, they often point to underlying imbalances in brain chemistry and function, significantly increasing neurological vulnerability. The primary culprits here are often neurotransmitter dysregulation and chronic low-grade inflammation in the brain. Our mood and emotional stability are intimately tied to the balance of key neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. Serotonin plays a crucial role in regulating mood, sleep, appetite, and social behavior. Dopamine is linked to pleasure, motivation, and reward. Norepinephrine is involved in alertness and the fight or flight response. When these neurotransmitters are out of balance, whether due to chronic stress, poor gut health, nutrient deficiencies, or genetic predispositions, it can lead to mood instability. For example, chronically elevated stress hormones like cortisol, which often accompany poor brain health, can deplete serotonin and dopamine, contributing to feelings of anxiety and depression. Furthermore, as we touched on, inflammation doesn't just affect cognitive function, it also directly impacts mood. Inflammatory molecules can disrupt the synthesis and metabolism of neurotransmitters, and even alter brain circuits involved in emotional regulation, leading to heightened irritability, anxiety, and a lowered mood threshold. Your brain is not just a thinking organ, it's also your emotional control center. And when it's under siege from inflammation or dysregulation, your emotions become unstable. Consider a real-life scenario: someone who was once generally calm and easygoing suddenly finds themselves snapping at loved ones over minor issues, feeling constantly on edge, or experiencing bouts of uncharacteristic sadness or despair. They might feel perpetually agitated, unable to relax, or find themselves ruminating excessively. These emotional shifts might be confusing to them and distressing to those around them. They might seek help for anxiety or depression, but often, the underlying neurological connection is missed. They might try to cope with unhealthy behaviors, further exacerbating the problem. The consequences of neglecting these mood changes, especially when linked to brain health, are significant. Chronic anxiety and depression are not just debilitating in themselves. They create a constant state of physiological stress that further harms the brain. Prolonged exposure to elevated stress hormones can lead to atrophy in brain regions vital for emotional regulation, memory, and executive function, such as the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex. This makes the brain less resilient and more prone to damage. Moreover, individuals experiencing severe mood dysregulation are often more likely to engage in lifestyle choices that negatively impact brain health, such as poor diet, lack of exercise, and disrupted sleep patterns, creating a vicious cycle. Critically, there's a strong and growing body of research demonstrating a link between chronic inflammation and mood disorders, and this same inflammatory pathway is a major contributor to stroke risk. Conditions like depression and chronic stress are independent risk factors for cardiovascular disease and stroke. The inflammatory processes that contribute to mood instability can also damage blood vessels, increase blood clot formation, and contribute to atherosclerosis, which directly elevates stroke risk. Therefore, recognizing unexplained mood swings and heightened anxiety or depression as potential indicators of underlying brain health issues is not just about mental well-being, it's a vital component of holistic neurological protection. It's your brain crying out for balance, and addressing it can be a preventative measure against more severe neurological events. Let's now turn our attention to the fourth critical sign that often points to underlying vascular and neurological stress: intermittent or unexplained headaches, dizziness, or lightheadedness, especially upon standing or with sudden movements. While these symptoms can be caused by various factors, when they occur frequently and without a clear explanation, particularly in conjunction with the other signs we've discussed, they can be subtle indicators of compromised cerebral blood flow regulation and potential vascular weakness, both of which significantly increase stroke risk. The primary mechanism at play here is often related to the autonomic nervous system's inability to properly regulate blood pressure and blood flow to the brain. Your brain requires a constant, stable supply of blood, regardless of your body's position or activity. This is managed by a sophisticated system that quickly constricts or dilates blood vessels to maintain steady pressure. If this regulatory system is sluggish or compromised, perhaps due to arterial stiffness, dehydration, or an overworked autonomic nervous system, often from chronic stress, your brain might experience momentary reductions in blood flow. These transient reductions can lead to symptoms like lightheadedness or dizziness, particularly when you stand up quickly, as gravity pulls blood downwards and your body struggles to compensate fast enough to keep blood flowing adequately to the brain. Headaches, especially those that feel like a dull pressure or a general ache, can also be a manifestation of inadequate blood flow or increased pressure within the cranial cavity due to vascular changes or inflammation. Think of someone who regularly experiences a brief moment of dizziness when they stand up from a chair, or frequently complains of a dull, nagging headache that isn't severe enough to be a migraine, but is constantly present. They might dismiss it as a sign of dehydration or simply being tired. They might experience episodes where they feel lightheaded and need to sit down for a moment, and perhaps they've even had a few near falls. These individuals might attribute it to low blood pressure or just getting older, failing to recognize these as potential early warnings from their brain. The consequences of ignoring these seemingly minor symptoms can be far-reaching and gravely serious. Persistent issues with cerebral blood flow regulation are a direct pathway to increased stroke risk. If your brain is experiencing recurrent episodes of insufficient blood flow, even if brief, it's undergoing periods of oxygen and nutrient deprivation. Over time, these subtle, mini-starvations can damage brain cells and weaken blood vessel walls. This can lead to the formation of small lesions, contribute to the hardening of arteries, atherosclerosis, or increase the likelihood of blood clots forming. Each of these conditions significantly elevates the risk of a major ischemic stroke, where a blood clot blocks an artery, or a hemorrhagic stroke, where a blood vessel ruptures. Furthermore, chronic dizziness and lightheadedness increase the risk of falls, which can lead to traumatic brain injuries, further compounding neurological vulnerability. Early recognition of these seemingly innocuous symptoms as potential indicators of underlying vascular stress is absolutely critical. They are your body's way of signaling that the intricate plumbing system supplying your brain might be compromised, urging you to take preventative action before a more catastrophic event occurs. Addressing these issues can literally be the difference between maintaining cognitive health and facing a life-altering neurological event. Finally, let's address the fifth crucial manifestation that acts as a strong indicator of compromised neurological health: deteriorating physical coordination, balance issues, or an increasing tendency to stumble or drop things. This might appear as clumsiness, but when it becomes a persistent pattern, especially if it's new or worsening, it can be a subtle yet powerful sign that your brain's motor control centers or the pathways that connect them are under stress. This goes beyond simple fatigue and points to an erosion of neurological precision. The underlying causes for these symptoms are often related to impaired proprioception, cerebellar dysfunction, or early vascular changes impacting motor pathways. Proprioception is your body's sense of its own position and movement in space. It's how your brain knows where your limbs are without looking at them. This sense relies on signals from sensory receptors in your muscles, joints, and tendons, which are then processed by your brain, particularly the cerebellum. The cerebellum, located at the back of your brain, is the master coordinator of voluntary movements, balance, and posture. It fine-tunes motor commands, ensuring movements are smooth, coordinated, and precise. If there is inflammation, reduced blood flow, or even subtle damage to the cerebellum, or the neural pathways that feed into it, like those affected by small vessel disease or micro-strokies, you can experience a noticeable decline in coordination and balance. Additionally, compromised blood flow to areas of the brain responsible for motor planning and execution, such as parts of the frontal lobe or basal ganglia, can also manifest as increasing clumsiness or difficulty with fine motor skills. Consider the example of an individual who suddenly finds themselves tripping over unseen obstacles more often, struggling to walk in a straight line, or having difficulty with tasks that require fine motor control, like buttoning a shirt or picking up small objects. They might start dropping cups or plates, or find their handwriting becoming less legible. While they might initially laugh it off as being clumsy, or just having one of those days, if this pattern persists and worsens, it's a significant cause for concern. They might even notice a subtle tremor in their hands, or an increased shakiness in their movements. The consequences of ignoring deteriorating coordination and balance are severe and immediate. Beyond the obvious risk of falls, which can lead to fractures and traumatic brain injuries, these symptoms are often early indicators of progressive neurological issues. Impaired balance and coordination can significantly increase the risk of stroke, particularly if the underlying cause is related to vascular issues like small vessel disease or transient ischemic attacks, TAST, which are mini strokes. These microvascular changes can silently accumulate, eroding brain tissue and eventually leading to a major stroke. Furthermore, persistent issues with motor control can be early signs of neurodegenerative conditions like Parkinson's disease or multiple sclerosis, or even subtle brain tumors. Missing these early warning signs means missing a critical window for intervention that could slow progression or prevent a more debilitating event. Recognizing an unexplained decline in physical coordination as a serious neurological red flag is not just about preventing falls, it's about protecting your brain's long-term integrity and functional independence. It is your brain's physical manifestation of an internal struggle, demanding your attention and proactive intervention. So, we've explored the critical signs that your brain health might be compromised: persistent fatigue and low energy, debilitating brain fog and cognitive issues, unexplained mood swings, intermittent headaches and dizziness, and deteriorating physical coordination. Now, let's shift our focus to the transformative solution, the Fa1 morning habit that can prevent stroke and brain fog, alongside other crucial lifestyle changes that support your neurological protection. This isn't a complex medical procedure, it's a simple, yet profoundly powerful, daily ritual that can fundamentally change the trajectory of your brain health. The Fa1 morning habit is hydration with electrolytes immediately upon waking. But we're not just talking about chugging a glass of plain water. This is about consciously and consistently providing your brain and body with the precise fluid and mineral balance they desperately need after hours of sleep and cellular repair. When you wake up, you are inherently dehydrated. Even if you drank water before bed, your body has been working throughout the night, undergoing metabolic processes that consume water, and you've lost fluids through respiration and perspiration. This mild dehydration, often unnoticeable on its own, has a disproportionately negative impact on your brain. Here's why this habit is so profoundly effective. Firstly, optimal cerebral blood flow. Your brain is about 75% water. Even a 1–2% drop in hydration can significantly reduce cerebral blood flow, making your blood thicker and harder to pump efficiently through the tiny capillaries that nourish your brain cells. Think of trying to pump thick mud through a garden hose versus clear water. Rehydrating first thing in the morning with water containing essential electrolytes, like sodium, potassium, and magnesium, ensures your blood volume is optimal, allowing for smooth, efficient delivery of oxygen and nutrients to every corner of your brain. This immediate boost in blood flow counteracts the morning dehydration-induced sluggishness, ensuring your brain cells receive their vital fuel from the get-go. This is a direct preventative measure against the subtle blood flow issues that can lead to brain fog and, cumulatively, to stroke. Secondly, enhanced neurotransmitter function and reduced neuroinflammation. Electrolytes are not just for muscle cramps, they are critical for nerve impulse transmission and maintaining the electrical balance across cell membranes, which is essential for proper brain function. Sodium, potassium, and magnesium play key roles in the firing of neurons and the synthesis and release of neurotransmitters. When you're dehydrated, these electrical signals can be disrupted, leading to the fuzzy thinking and mood dysregulation we discussed. Moreover, dehydration is a mild stressor that can contribute to systemic inflammation, including neuroinflammation. By rehydrating with electrolytes, you help calm this inflammatory response, creating a more stable and efficient environment for your brain's chemical messengers. Magnesium, in particular, is a powerful anti-inflammatory and neuroprotective agent. Thirdly, improved cellular energy production. As we discussed, persistent fatigue often stems from mitochondrial dysfunction. Water is essential for every biochemical reaction in the body, including the production of ATP within your mitochondria. Starting your day adequately hydrated ensures your cellular energy factories are primed to function optimally, providing your brain with the sustained energy it needs to prevent fatigue and support sharp cognitive function throughout the day. Electrolytes like magnesium are cofactors in ATP production, making their inclusion even more vital. Fourthly, supporting the lymphatic system and waste removal. The brain has its own waste clearance system, known as the glymphatic system, which is most active during sleep. However, proper hydration is crucial for its efficient functioning during wakefulness. Adequate fluid helps flush out metabolic byproducts and toxins that accumulate overnight, preventing them from contributing to brain fog and neuroinflammation. Think of it like flushing a drain. Without enough water, things get sluggish and back up. So, how do you implement this A1 morning habit? It's simple. Within 15–30 minutes of waking up, drink 16–20 ounces about 500–600 ml of water infused with a high-quality electrolyte blend. The water, it should be filtered water, ideally at room temperature or slightly warm, as this is easier for your body to absorb rapidly. The electrolytes. This is key. Don't just use table salt. Look for a balanced electrolyte powder that contains sodium, potassium, and magnesium, and ideally without added sugars or artificial ingredients. You can find these specifically formulated for hydration. If you don't have a commercial blend, a pinch of good quality sea salt, which contains trace minerals, and a squeeze of fresh lemon or lime juice can be a good DI alternative, though a balanced blend is superior. Now, let's integrate this with other crucial lifestyle changes for comprehensive neurological protection. Prioritize nutrient Dense diet fuel your brain, protect your vessels. Focus on whole, unprocessed foods, emphasize fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats. These provide the vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants essential for brain health and vascular integrity. Think of the Mediterranean diet as a blueprint. Omega-3 fatty acids critical for brain structure and reducing inflammation. Include fatty fish, said salmon, mackerel, sardines, flax seeds, chia seeds, and walnuts. Antioxidants found in brightly colored fruits and vegetables, berries, leafy greens. They combat oxidative stress, which damages brain cells and blood vessels. Limit processed foods, sugar, and unhealthy fats. These contribute to systemic inflammation, insulin resistance, and arterial damage, all major risk factors for stroke and cognitive decline. Sugar spikes can also directly lead to brain fog. Ensure adequate B vitamins. B vitamins, especially B6, B9, folate, and B12, are crucial for neurological function and reducing homocysteine levels, a risk factor for stroke. Found in leafy greens, eggs, meat, and legumes. Regular physical activity. Exercise your brain, strengthen your arteries. Aerobic exercise activities like brisk walking, jogging, swimming, or cycling for at least 30 minutes most days of the week significantly improve cerebral blood flow, promote neurogenesis, the growth of new brain cells, and reduce inflammation. It directly lowers blood pressure and cholesterol, major stroke risk factors. Strength training builds muscle and improves overall metabolic health, which indirectly supports brain function by improving insulin sensitivity and reducing systemic inflammation. Balance and coordination exercises, Tai Chi, yoga, or specific balance drills can directly enhance cerebellar function and proprioception, addressing those physical signs we discussed. Optimize sleep, restore your brain, prevent damage. Consistent sleep schedule, go to bed and wake up at roughly the same time every day, even on weekends, to regulate your circadian rhythm. Create a sleep sanctuary, dark, quiet, and cool bedroom. Limit blue light exposure, avoid screens 60-90 minutes before bed. Blue light disrupts melatonin production, which is essential for sleep and also has neuroprotective properties. Adequate sleep duration. Aim for 7-9 hours of quality sleep per night. During deep sleep, the brain actively clears metabolic waste and consolidates memories. Stress management, calm your mind, protect your vessels. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, which is detrimental to brain health and can damage blood vessels over time. Incorporate stress-reducing practices, meditation, deep breathing exercises, mindfulness, yoga, spending time in nature, or engaging in hobbies you enjoy. Prioritize downtime, schedule periods of relaxation and disconnect from work or obligations. Cognitive stimulation, use it or lose it. Engage in mentally challenging activities, learn a new language, play an instrument, do puzzles, read, or take up new hobbies. This builds cognitive reserve and keeps your neural pathways active and resilient. Social engagement. Maintaining strong social connections is linked to better cognitive function and reduced risk of dementia. Maintain healthy blood pressure, blood sugar, and cholesterol levels. These are primary risk factors for stroke and cognitive decline. Regular monitoring and, if necessary, medical intervention are crucial. The lifestyle habits outlined above are powerful tools for managing these markers naturally. Regular check-ups, don't skip your annual physicals. Early detection of issues like high blood pressure or pre-diabetes is critical for prevention. Important notes, when applying these solutions, consistency is key. This isn't about perfection, but persistence. The daily morning hydration habit, combined with consistent healthy lifestyle choices, will compound over time, building remarkable neurological resilience. Listen to your body. Pay attention to how you feel. The goal is to feel more energized, mentally clearer, and emotionally stable. If something isn't working, or if symptoms persist or worsen, consult with a healthcare professional. Start small. Build up. Don't try to overhaul everything at once. Begin with the morning hydration habit, then gradually incorporate other changes. Sustainable change comes from gradual integration. Source quality. When choosing electrolyte blends or any supplements, always prioritize reputable brands with transparent ingredient lists and third-party testing. Patience. While you might feel benefits from morning hydration quickly, true neurological protection and reversal of long-standing issues take time. Trust the process. The effects of consistently integrating this 81 morning habit and the supportive lifestyle changes can be transformative. You can expect to wake up feeling more refreshed, with improved mental clarity and focus that lasts throughout the day. The brain fog, difficulty concentrating, and memory lapses will begin to dissipate, replaced by a sharper mind and enhanced cognitive performance. Your energy levels will stabilize, reducing the need for constant caffeine or sugary pick-me-ups. You'll notice an improvement in your mood and emotional resilience, as your brain chemistry finds a more stable balance. The subtle headaches, dizziness, and issues with coordination will likely diminish, indicating better cerebral blood flow and neurological function. Most importantly, you will be actively and powerfully reducing your risk of stroke and protecting your brain from age-related cognitive decline. This isn't just about avoiding illness, it's about optimizing your brain's potential, preserving your independence, and enhancing your quality of life for decades to come. In conclusion, your brain is your most precious asset, the command center of your entire being. Protecting it from debilitating conditions like stroke and the insidious creep of brain fog is not a luxury. It's a fundamental necessity. The signs we've discussed: persistent fatigue, brain fog, mood swings, dizziness, and coordination issues are not just minor annoyances. They are critical whispers from your brain, signaling that it needs your attention and proactive care. Ignoring these signals is like ignoring a flickering oil light in your car. Eventually, it leads to much larger, more catastrophic problems. But here's the incredibly empowering truth: you hold immense power to safeguard your neurological health. The F1 morning habit of hydrating with electrolytes immediately upon waking is a simple, yet profoundly effective, daily ritual that directly supports optimal cerebral blood flow, enhances neurotransmitter function, improves cellular energy, and aids in waste removal. It's a foundational step that sets your brain up for success every single day. When combined with a nutrient-dense diet, regular physical activity, optimized sleep, effective stress management, and continuous cognitive stimulation, you are building an impenetrable fortress around your brain, actively preventing stroke and preserving your cognitive vitality. Don't wait for a crisis to take action. Embrace these strategies now. Be proactive in protecting your brain, because a healthy brain means a healthy, vibrant life. Your future self and your loved ones will thank you for it. This isn't just about adding years to your life, it's about adding life to your years. Thank you so much for investing your time in watching this entire video, and for being such a vital part of the Body Revival community. Your commitment to your health journey inspires us every single day. If you found this information valuable, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, and share this video with anyone you care about. Together, we can spread this crucial knowledge and empower more people to live with sharper minds and stronger bodies. We are incredibly grateful for your support and look forward to bringing you more transformative health insights in our next videos. Until then, I wish you all robust brain health, clarity, and boundless energy. See you again soon on Body Revival.